Have you ever heard of Ishmael, the forgotten son of Abraham? Today, we're going to delve into the fascinating story of Ishmael, a figure often overlooked in biblical narratives, but who plays a crucial role in the history and faith of millions around the world. Abraham, one of the patriarchs of faith, received a divine promise that would transform his life and that of his descendants forever. God promised Abraham that he would be the father of many nations, but this promise came at a time of great uncertainty. Abraham and his wife Sarah were elderly, and Sarah was barren, unable to conceive children. It was in this context of doubt and faith that Ishmael, Abraham's son with Hagar, Sarah's Egyptian servant, was born. Ishmael's story is not just one of birth and survival, but also a rich narrative of human conflict, divine promises, and God's enduring grace. I invite you to join us on this journey through the pages of the Bible to uncover the life and legacy of Ishmael, the often forgotten but never abandoned Son of God. If you find inspiration in timeless stories of faith, heritage, and redemption, get ready for a moving and meaningful narrative. The birth of Ishmael is a fascinating and multifaceted chapter in the life of Abraham, one of the most revered patriarchs in the Bible. This story begins with a divine promise during a time of great doubt and uncertainty. Abraham, at 86 years old, and his wife Sarah faced the harsh reality of infertility. Despite God's promises that Abraham would be the father of many nations, the absence of a child caused anguish and questions about how this promise would be fulfilled. Desperate for an heir, Abraham and Sarah made a bold and complex decision. Following a common practice of the time, Sarah offered her Egyptian servant, Hagar, for Abraham to have a child with her. This act, though socially accepted, brought profound emotional and spiritual implications. It was an attempt by Abraham and Sarah to help fulfill the divine promise, but it also reflected their struggle to fully trust in God's timing and ways. Genesis 16:1-2 narrates this decisive moment. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, had borne him no children, but she had an Egyptian slave named Hagar. So she said to Abram, "The Lord has kept me from having children. Go, sleep with my slave. Perhaps I can build a family through her." Abram agreed to what Sarai said. So, Hagar conceived. But Hagar's pregnancy brought out feelings of contempt and superiority towards Sarah, who in turn felt even more marginalized and distressed. Genesis 16 verses 4-5 describes the growing tension. He slept with Hagar, and she conceived. When she knew she was pregnant, she began to despise her mistress. Then Sarai said to Abram, "You are responsible for the wrong I am suffering. I put my slave in your arms, and now that she knows she is pregnant, she despises me. May the Lord judge between you and me." Amid this tension, Hagar fled to the desert, seeking to escape the unbearable situation. It was in this moment of despair that the angel of the Lord appeared to Hagar, offering her comfort and a divine promise. Genesis 16 verses 7-10 recounts, "The angel of the Lord found Hagar near a spring in the desert. It was the spring that is beside the road to Shur. And he said, 'Hagar, slave of Sarai, where have you come from, and where are you going?' 'I'm running away from my mistress Sarai,' she answered. Then the angel of the Lord told her, 'Go back to your mistress and submit to her.' The angel added, 'I will increase your descendants so much that they will be too numerous to count.' The angel of the Lord also revealed to Hagar the name and destiny of her son. 'You are now pregnant, and you will give birth to a son. You shall name him Ishmael, for the Lord has heard of your misery.' The name Ishmael, meaning God hears, is a testament to divine compassion and the promise of a significant future. Hagar returned and gave birth to Ishmael, marking the beginning of a new phase in Abraham's life. Genesis 16 verses 15-16 states, "So Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram gave the name Ishmael to the son she had born. Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bore him Ishmael." The birth of Ishmael, though surrounded by conflicts and complexities, was an event filled with meaning and hope. It not only provided Abraham with an heir, but also laid the foundation for future events that would shape the trajectory of Abraham's family and the nations that would descend from Ishmael. The early years of Ishmael were marked by a series of tumultuous events and intense conflicts within Abraham's family. After Ishmael's birth, Hagar, the Egyptian servant who became the mother of Abraham's firstborn, experienced a significant change in her position and attitude. From a humble servant, Hagar began to feel superior to Sarah, her mistress, which led to deep and lasting resentment. Abraham, seeking to maintain peace in his household, gave Sarah the authority to deal with Hagar as she saw fit. This led Sarah to treat Hagar harshly, forcing her to flee to the desert in search of relief. In the desert, Hagar encountered an angel of the Lord who instructed her to return and submit to Sarah, promising that her descendants would be greatly multiplied. This divine encounter gave Hagar the strength to return and face her difficult situation. Genesis 16 verses 9 to 10 records the angel's words. Then the angel of the Lord told her, "Go back to your mistress and submit to her." The angel added, "I will increase your descendants so much that they will be too numerous to count." Hagar returned and gave birth to Ishmael, who grew up under God's protection and Abraham's supervision. However, the tensions between Hagar and Sarah never completely disappeared. When Ishmael was about 13 years old, God renewed his covenant with Abraham, instructing that all males in his household be circumcised, including Ishmael. This act was an external sign of the covenant and a formal inclusion of Ishmael in God's promises to Abraham. Genesis 17 verses 23 to 27 describes this event. On that very day Abraham took his son Ishmael and all those born in his household or bought with his money, every male in his household, and circumcised them as God told him. Abraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised, and his son Ishmael was 13. Abraham and his son Ishmael were both circumcised on that same day. The arrival of Isaac, the promised son to Abraham and Sarah, brought a new dimension of conflict. Isaac was the direct fulfillment of the divine promise, and his presence highlighted the existing tensions even more. During the celebration of Isaac's weaning, Sarah observed Ishmael laughing and playing with Isaac, which heightened her fear that Ishmael might usurp her son's position as the legitimate heir. Genesis 21 verses 8 to 10 describes this incident. The child grew and was weaned, and on the day Isaac was weaned, Abraham held a great feast. But Sarah saw that the son whom Hagar the Egyptian had borne to Abraham was mocking, and she said to Abraham, "Get rid of that slave woman and her son, for that woman's son will never share in the inheritance with my son Isaac." This demand deeply troubled Abraham because he loved Ishmael. However, God told Abraham to heed Sarah's request, assuring him that Ishmael would also become the father of a great nation due to his lineage. Thus, with a heavy heart, Abraham sent Hagar and Ishmael away, providing them with limited supplies. Genesis 21 verses 11 to 13 recounts, "The matter distressed Abraham greatly because it concerned his son. But God said to him, 'Do not be so distressed about the boy and your slave woman. Listen to whatever Sarah tells you, because it is through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned. I will make the son of the slave into a nation also, because he is your offspring.'" This event marked a new phase in the lives of Ishmael and Hagar. In the desert, they faced immense hardships, but also experienced divine intervention and protection. When their water ran out, Hagar placed Ishmael under a bush and moved away, unable to watch her son die. God heard Ishmael's cries and sent an angel to show Hagar a well, saving their lives and reaffirming the promise of a great future for Ishmael. These early years of Ishmael, marked by family conflicts, divine interventions, and desert challenges, shaped his identity and destiny. Ishmael's story teaches us about the complexity of human relationships and the faithfulness of God's promises, even amid adverse circumstances. They settled in the desert of Paran, where Ishmael grew and became a skilled archer. Genesis 21 verses 20 to 21 describes the continuation of his life. God was with the boy as he grew up. He lived in the desert and became an archer. While he was living in the desert of Paran, his mother got a wife for him from Egypt. The separation from his family was a crucial moment that shaped Ishmael's identity and destiny. He and his mother faced immense challenges, but also experienced divine provision and protection. Ishmael's story reminds us that even amid adverse circumstances, God's promises are fulfilled. After the painful separation from his family, Ishmael and his mother, Hagar, found themselves alone in the desert of Paran. This hostile environment demanded resilience, strength, and deep faith in God. Life in the desert was not easy. It required continuous adaptation and survival skills. However, it was in this harsh landscape that Ishmael began to forge his destiny and fulfill the promises made by God to his father, Abraham. Ishmael grew up amidst the vastness of the desert, where survival depended on his abilities as a hunter and protector. He became a skilled archer, a vital skill not only for securing food but also for protecting his family and future community. The Bible mentions, God was with the boy as he grew up. He lived in the desert and became an archer. This ability symbolizes not only his adaptability but also his growing independence and prowess. Hagar, his mother, played a crucial role during these formative years. Despite the hardships, she ensured that Ishmael had a strong foundation of values and skills. Hagar, an Egyptian, instilled in her son a strong sense of identity and connection to his roots. Eventually, she found a wife for Ishmael from Egypt, further strengthening this connection. Genesis 21 verse 21 notes, while he was living in the desert of Paran, his mother got a wife for him from Egypt. The desert, with its harsh conditions, shaped Ishmael in many ways. He learned to be resilient, to rely on his abilities, and to live in harmony with the nature around him. These experiences strengthened his character and prepared him to lead his own tribe. God's promise to make Ishmael into a great nation began to manifest during these formative years as he started to gather followers and establish his community. In the desert of Paran, Ishmael laid down his roots. This vast and arid territory became the cradle of his new life and the foundation for fulfilling divine promises. The Bible recounts that God was with Ishmael, ensuring him continuous protection and guidance. This time in the desert was crucial for Ishmael's development as a leader and patriarch of a great nation. Ishmael also stood out as a leader among his peers. He not only developed survival skills, but also leadership qualities that attracted followers. He built a reputation for strength, skill, and wisdom, beginning to fulfill his role as a tribal leader. His life in the desert, marked by challenges and triumphs, was a testament to God's faithfulness and the fulfillment of his promises. Beyond his skills as an archer and leader, Ishmael established important social and political relationships. His marriage to an Egyptian woman strengthened ties with his mother's homeland and solidified his position. Ishmael had 12 sons, who became leaders of 12 tribes, as recorded in Genesis 25 verses 12 to 16. These tribes spread throughout the region, fulfilling God's promise that Ishmael would be the progenitor of a great nation. Life in the desert, though challenging, was the arena where Ishmael transformed into a respected and powerful leader. His story teaches us about the importance of resilience, faith, and trust in divine promises. Even in adversity, Ishmael thrived and became a central figure in the biblical narrative, a symbol of God's ability to turn challenges into blessings and adversities into opportunities. Ishmael's journey in the desert is proof that, with divine guidance, even the most hostile environments can become fertile grounds for growth and the fulfillment of God's promises. His story continues to inspire and teach about perseverance, leadership, and unwavering faith in the divine plan. Ishmael's legacy is profound and multifaceted, encompassing not only his own life, but also the lives of his descendants and his enduring influence on cultural and religious traditions. Ishmael, son of Abraham and Hagar, left an indelible mark on history, becoming the progenitor of a great nation as promised by God. Ishmael had 12 sons, whose names and lineages are carefully recorded in the Bible. Genesis 25 verses 12 to 16 provides the list of Ishmael's descendants. These are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah's slave, bore to Abraham. These are the names of the sons of Ishmael, named in the order of their birth: Nebaioth, the firstborn of Ishmael, and Kedar, Adbeel, Mibsam, Mishma, Dumah, Mossa, Hadad, Tema, Jetur, Naphish, and Kedemah. These are the sons of Ishmael, and these are their names by their villages and by their encampments, 12 princes according to their tribes. Each of these sons became the leader of a tribe, settling in various regions around the desert of Paran. These tribes formed the foundation of the Arab nations, with their descendants spreading over a vast geographical area. Through his sons, Ishmael fulfilled the divine promise to become a great nation, with an influence that extends to this day. Beyond his direct impact through his descendants, Ishmael's legacy is also intertwined with Islamic tradition. In Islamic tradition, Ishmael is recognized as one of the patriarchs and a prophet, particularly revered for his association with the Kaaba in Mecca. According to Islamic tradition, Ishmael and his father Abraham rebuilt the Kaaba, making it a sacred place for Muslims. Ishmael is seen as an ancestor of the Prophet Muhammad, the founder of Islam. This lineage is of immense importance to Muslims, who regard Ishmael as one of the earliest figures to establish the monotheistic tradition that Muhammad would continue centuries later. Respect for Ishmael and his mother Hagar is evident in various Islamic practices and celebrations, including the Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca, which commemorates, among other things, Hagar's search for water in the desert, and the subsequent divine provision of the Zamzam well. In addition to his religious significance, Ishmael's legacy is also cultural and social. The tribes descended from Ishmael played significant roles in the history of the Middle East, contributing to the development of various civilizations and cultures. The Ishmaelites, as they are often called in the Bible, were known for their trading skills and nomadic lifestyle, traits that influenced the societies around them. Ishmael died at the age of 137, as recorded in Genesis 25 verse 17. These are the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years. He breathed his last and died, and was gathered to his people. Despite his death, the impact of his life continued to be felt for generations, with his tribes and descendants perpetuating his legacy. Ishmael's legacy teaches us about the importance of faithfulness to God's promises and the ability to overcome adversity. His life, marked by challenges and triumphs, is a testament to divine providence and the fulfillment of promises made to Abraham. Ishmael, often the forgotten son, played a crucial role in the formation of nations and in religious history that continues to resonate today. Ishmael's story is rich and multifaceted, reflecting the complexities of human relationships, God's faithfulness, and the capacity for overcoming adversity and resilience. From his birth under challenging circumstances to his life in the desert and his role as the patriarch of a great nation, Ishmael's journey is a powerful testament to the fulfillment of divine promises. Ishmael was born when Abraham and Sarah were facing the painful reality of infertility. In an act of desperation, Sarah offered her servant Hagar to Abraham, resulting in Ishmael's birth. This decision brought conflicts and tensions within the family, culminating in the eventual separation of Ishmael and Hagar. In the desert, facing extreme adversities, Ishmael and Hagar were sustained by divine intervention. God heard Ishmael's cries and provided a well of water, saving their lives and reaffirming the promise that Ishmael would become the father of a great nation. Growing up in the desert, Ishmael developed essential survival and leadership skills. He became a skilled archer and a respected leader, establishing a great lineage through his 12 sons. The Ishmaelite tribes spread across a vast geographical area, influencing the culture and history of the region. Additionally, Ishmael established a significant connection with Islamic tradition, being recognized as a prophet and a direct ancestor of the Prophet Muhammad. Ishmael is remembered not just as Abraham's son, but as a patriarch in his own right, whose life and descendants fulfilled divine promises. His story is one of overcoming challenges, unwavering faith, and a lasting legacy. Ishmael represents the continuity of God's promises and the realization of His plan through generations. His life also teaches us valuable lessons about resilience, the importance of faith, and God's ability to turn adverse circumstances into opportunities for growth and blessings. His story inspires those facing difficulties to trust in God's promises and persevere, knowing that He is faithful and just. In summary, Ishmael, often remembered as the forgotten son of Abraham, left an indelible mark on religious and cultural history. His life, full of challenges and triumphs, is a testament to God's faithfulness and human resilience. Through his descendants and his connection to Islamic tradition, Ishmael's legacy continues to influence and inspire millions of people around the world. If you enjoyed this video and found Ishmael's story inspiring, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Your participation is crucial for us to continue bringing content that touches hearts and builds faith. Hit the bell icon to receive notifications for our next videos, and share this video with your friends and family, so they too can be blessed by these transformative stories. Most importantly, we invite you to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Just as God was with Ishmael and transformed his life, He desires to be with you, guiding and blessing every step of your journey. Open your heart to Jesus and allow Him to be a part of your life, bringing peace, purpose, and the fulfillment of the divine plans He has for you. Leave your testimony in the comments below, share how God has been working in your life, and show the world the power of divine love. We want to hear your stories and pray for you. Remember, you are loved by God, and He has a wonderful plan for your life. No matter what challenges you face, God's grace and mercy are sufficient to transform any situation. And before you go, don't miss our video on Ezekiel and the Valley of Dry Bones. It's an uplifting and hope-filled message that will surely touch your heart and strengthen your faith. Click on the card next to this video and allow yourself to be renewed by God's powerful message. May God bless you abundantly. See you in the next video.